then of course GP and as all the engineers communicating through the radios that are going through you to Max and Sergio, and then to the people in the garage as well, sort of timing the pit stops correctly. There are 22, including the driver there, but so much more than that goes into when the pit stop happens. Balancing it. Is Lewis staying out here, so we'll box opposite, or things like that. All then to go into that moment of actually having to put the wheel gun on and to not, cross thread it or get anything timed incorrectly. It's really, really specialist, really impressive that you've been able to achieve that over so long, to have an output that is distinctly separate from the other teams and distinctly improved. It must also be sort of attractive to people looking to join the team, to say, look at what they've been able to achieve. You want to contribute to that. Do you think that sort of culture in Red Bull has been one of the main things that's dragged you to the top of the sport again?
I don't know. I think we were quick to identify in the last year of the refueling era that you wanted to spend the minimum amount of time in the pit lane.
Right.
And it kind of built from there. So sort of 2009, 2010, we've had our mistakes in the pit lane. We've not always had anything like the right amount of the correct equipment, even if it's down to wheel nut material or axle material, because you have to compromise pit stops for overall car performance. So yeah, it's been an incredible learning experience, and yeah, I have a huge amount of experience in pit stops. I think it's something the team takes a tremendous amount of pride in. Back to your point,
yep.
And I think I don't know if it makes. It's interesting. Quite a few of the recruits we get say, I only want to come and work for Red Bull. I'm not applying to other teams. I'd rather wait until the next vacancy at Red Bull and then apply again.
Wow.
And I think it's interesting hearing your perspective in that question. Maybe it does. I mean, certainly everyone wants to be in the pit stop, but not everyone's cut out for it. Yeah,
and then they're faced with that pressure. So if we say maybe, might hurt to bring it up, but Monaco 2016, right, where you have Daniel Ricciardo leading that race, the pressure of a pit stop while you're leading the race, when it goes wrong, and then 2 years later you get that opportunity of 2018 Monaco, Ricciardo comes into the pits, he's leading again. You must have that in your mind of people that have made that mistake before, but that mindset of knowing you can be better than you were yesterday, being able to be sort of given that chance to redeem a mistake from years before and capitalize on it in that moment. It must have been another moment of pride in Monaco 2018 where you were able to sort of avenge that loss.
I think it was more relief.
Relief, okay, sure.
But you look back to the lessons learned from 2016. We put ourselves into a race that we didn't need to be in. We were way out ahead. We reacted a bit too soon. We decided to stay out a lap, and that caused the confusion then, because you had a set of cold tyres in the pits and decided to use another set of tyres. Monaco's a really short lap, and before you know it, we tripped up on ourselves. And the procedures, you learn from your mistakes, Jack, and the procedures that we put in place after that have been pretty robust. Bought a lot of new equipment that maybe I wouldn't have got signed off before it, but something as raw and as painful as that is good for freeing up the checkbook from time to time. And all of it's significant. All of these lessons learned. I've been involved in pit stops for 31 years, but I was in them for 15 years. Doing everything from wheel guns. Benetton? Starting at Benetton, trying out all sorts of different jobs, and then right the way through to, so Benetton got bought by Renault, and then with Renault right up until I came here, and actually that was I put the lollipop down, if you like. I was the chief mechanic at Renault, and then I've been managing pit stops ever since then. So you can imagine 31 years of experience, all of those painful lessons. I mean, and even this year, the FIA did their damnedest to implement some regulations to try.
I was going to ask about that. How much of a force was that to stop you from being able to be that fastest team? I mean, was it a big step, or was it every team had to deal with it, so it was kind of fair game because everyone got the same new regulations?
It's not a fair game because it's not an equal playing field in terms of what equipment everyone has. The concern in Formula One was not actually, not actually our pit stops. It was the safety being called into questions of other teams who were trying to get to our level of pit stop performance, and the corners that might have been being cut. The trouble for us was, so we had to introduce a software system. We had to introduce some new protocols into our software system, and normally we'd probably test those for the minimum 6 months before introducing them. We were only able to do so for about 2 weeks, and then we ended up having a 12 or 13-second pit stop in Monza as a result, which was painful to us. But basically, if you have no automation in your pit stop system, you can't police it. So it does kind of hand the advantage to those teams with, let's call them, rather than intelligent wheel guns, dumb wheel guns.
Interesting. So it wasn't actually something that the FIA had looked at other teams trying to catch up to Red Bull and actually pointed at them as saying that's where the fault was lying. It wasn't actually anything that Red Bull were doing. I thought that seems like maybe, at least on the sort of fan side, the idea at the time of the new pit stop regulations were coming in was to slow them down for safety because Red Bull are getting too quick. But it's really interesting to actually know it wasn't that in so much as it was other people cutting corners.
Well, interestingly, my conversations with the FIA over that began in Bahrain, first race of the year, and carried on through and through and through. I mean, obviously, for the other teams, the wonderful side effect was the ability to try to slow us down, or the opportunity to try to slow us down. But I genuinely don't think it had a tremendous effect on our pit stop performance. It's amazing. You look at the confidence of the team, and you'll see how long it took us to get our eye back in again after Monza. It really did knock everyone's confidence a little bit, which is crazy, really. But it just shows that dynamic and mindset of a competitive sporting team. And I guess people who follow football and other sports can see it when a team loses its confidence a little bit.
Yeah.